Greetings, Inquisitors. Welcome to the Holocron. This is the week 130 update for the Darth Loquitur account. I update this account's progress every week, and week 130 makes it 2.5 years that I've been working with this account. So it's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about today. As we get into it, please remember to use that like button. It helps me, it helps the channel, and I would appreciate it if you could do that for me. All right, so we had a relic target for Bastila Shan for the week, so we're going to do that first. We're going to take her up to Relic 5. And this is for the Jedi Knight Luke team that we're putting together specifically to beat Supreme Leader Kylo Ren in GAC. The team will have some other uses, but ultimately that's what we want to do with it. We want to be able to beat a Galactic Legend with a non-GL team. So we take her up to Relic 5. I'm thinking about working on our mods right here, but in the end I decide when old Ben gets to Relic, we'll fix up the whole team all at once, all together. So we'll establish old Ben as the next target for Relic, lock down a few gear pieces for him, and start working away at his Relic levels. We also have General Skywalker that we've been working on, and this week we've got enough shards to get him to 7 stars, so we'll take him up to 7. We'll take him up to gear 11, and then he's only a little bit away from gear 12. This particular piece is only 8 crystals per gear piece. Those are a great value, so we're going to just go ahead and buy a few of those to get him out to gear 12. We don't really need him at gear 12. I mean, we can't relic him quite yet, but I'm going to go ahead and invest that, get him popped up. All right, and then Hermit Yoda, we do need to have him at Relic 5 if we want to make use of Datacrons with the Jedi Knight Luke team. Also really need the Zeta on here so that we can give everybody foresight on the team. So we go ahead and put him up to Relic 5. As far as the journey goes, I'm looking for more characters to get to gear 12 so that we can continue this journey once we get done with these little interludes that we're doing. Also, taking a look at Maul here, we do potentially need to get a team together for the crate raid. So I want to build the Fennec Shand team. The Fennec team is going to need Mandalorian anyway. That'll put me at 4 Relic Mandalorians in the account. And with Maul, that would be a 5th Relic Mandalorian. I do plan to go for Jabba, but if I need a team to hold me over, I want to have this Maul team ready to go. So we'll stage Maul. We'll put some initial skills on him. No Zetas yet. We'll wait on that. I'm also going to create the Bad Batch and the Inquisitors as teams down here at the bottom so I can continue to work on some characters and bring them up. And since I have some money in the bank here, we'll go ahead and do a little bit of work on Omega. As much as I dislike the character in the series, I may still have to build her in the game, so there you go. Ship-wise, there's not much for me to do in ships. I do still want to build this other Rebel fleet with Raven's Claw, so we're going to go ahead and invest some ship Omegas in there. And that's pretty much all we do in fleet for the week. The Conquest is open. Datacrons are up, and it's time to build some Datacrons, so we'll go ahead and start working on that. We're going to try to pick a light side mechanic on this first one. Bonus mechanic for unaligned force users. We'll re-roll that if we can. Try to get something a little better than what we've got. And in the end, we're going to pick the one that they recover health and protection. Reroll it again, and then I decide I like this one where if they're at full health and protection, they get 100% more damage for their turn, so we're going to select that. Work a little more on that Datacron, then we'll switch over, start a new one. This is a mechanic for dark side characters, so again, we're just trying to build some things that'll work for various teams that we have. Here we get a Separatist roll on it. Then we'll go over here and we will work on another Datacron. Again, we get the bonus for dark side characters. Again, I'm going to re-roll that, try to get something for light side. This is the one for potency, so I go ahead and take that. There may be some characters that could be useful on. So we get 2 decently leveled Datacrons and a couple little ones. And here we're going through mods. Go through the gray mods pretty fast, didn't get a whole lot there this week. Going through blue mods, trying to figure out if there's anything that I want to slice. We'll take a look at this mod that has 10 speed, see if we can get something out of it. And we miss. Looking through these other mods, trying to figure out if there's anything else that I want to slice, but nothing that really jumps out at me is that good. We get several in the purples here that look pretty good, so we'll go ahead, take a slice on that. We don't get it, but 14 speed, still worth taking to 6 dots. At 15 speed, we still got some chances to reroll some decent stats. Level it up twice, and typically I don't want to take 6 dot mods past that blue level. If they only have 3 speed rolls, I need that 4th speed roll. So I run a calibration on it, and we get a speed roll. We'll take it up to 21. Now I'm interested in continuing slicing again, so I'll slice it twice here. Take it all the way up to gold, get 26 speed on that mod, so pretty good. To get a 25 plus speed mod is always the objective, so we got that for the week. That's nice. Here we're working on another one. Again, 14 speed, 15 once we take it to 6 dots. And we'll take a couple slices on it. Similarly, we miss, we get to blue. Now we have to calibrate, and I decided that it's not worth calibrating this particular mod. There's some other things that might be more interesting for us to work on. These ones just don't have enough speed to be interested in at the moment, so we take a look and decide that we're done slicing there. Then we go in here, sell off the 1 speed mods, things that I've tried in the past that haven't quite hit what I wanted to. Take a look at some 6 dot slicing here, and then nothing to see there, so we go into Maul. And then we'll start applying mods to Maul. I originally thought that I might be able to do a critical damage set on him, but I just don't have enough critical damage mods in inventory right now. And for anybody who doesn't recall from my mod mastery series or who hasn't watched them, I don't do mods like most people. I don't farm mods for a specific character. I farm mods to inventory, and then I mod characters from inventory. So I don't always have the perfect mods for a character, but I'm always working on trying to get the best mods I can. So we get some mods on him that are, just good enough for now. We'll definitely remod him if we ever take him to Gear 12 or to Relic level. And that's going to be it for the progress for the account this week. We did some characters, 1 ship, some datacrons, some mods, and that's where it puts us. So 130 weeks, 2.5 years. We're at 6.11 million galactic power. We added 30,000 since last week. 69 relics, 87 zetas, 10 omicrons. JMK still getting us in the top 10. Profundity's getting us top 5 in fleet. In Grand Arena, we're placed in Kyber 4 right now, and the project will be to take Old Ben to Relic in week 132. Next week's energy plan is for 000, BT1, the Inquisitors. In fleet, we're working on the TIE Defender and the Sith Fighter. Cantina, we're working on Signal Data plus Aura Sing. With mods, I'm farming mods 5 days a week and slicing materials on the weekend. And refresh strategy is obviously to get 3 refreshes on everything every day still. If you look at this same plan from 6 months ago, I was still farming Radis, Scion, 50 RT, Fennec, and Wicket. I was farming the Outrider and Fleet. We were working on that Profundity journey, of course. So interesting to see the difference. So the account overall, 2.5 years. Started on October 24th of 2020. This is April 24th, 2023. I actually started the game with my first account about Thanksgiving in 2019. And then about a year later, I started this alt account. I learned a lot in that first year about Grand Arena, and back then managing galactic power was a thing. Building teams in a certain way to help you win in Grand Arena was a challenge that I wanted to take. So I thought, hey, if I started over again, what would I do differently with a new account to do better? So that's why I started the alt. And I tried to make a plan for very efficient use of the galactic power back when that mattered. I did want to make sure that the account could play in all the game modes, not just strictly GAC. But I did want to make sure that we could always get fleet placement and Grand Arena. I had low expectations on squad. I've stuck with that, and I think that's still a good strategy for the early game. Then in November, CG announced that they would be doubling the shard drops. And that's when I started to document the account on YouTube. I thought, yeah, it'd be interesting. I just started this account. The shard drops are going to double. Let's see how this account develops. And originally my thought was, maybe someday I'll be playing in Grand Arena and somebody will say, man, that's a pretty good account. How did you do what you did? And have this stuff on YouTube, and I'd be able to say, you can go watch that if you want. But it obviously took on a life of its own, and a lot of people have been watching me for almost 2.5 years now. So thank you all. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's been an interesting and fun journey. This is the original plan, right? The efficient use of gems, optimized for Fleet Arena. And back then, I wanted to get best Fleet Arena placement, not only for crystals, but also for Zeta materials. Maximizing galactic power, or minimizing the galactic power by building as few characters as possible, and maximizing GAC potential by building characters that could win solo matchups in Grand Arena, and then build toward early legendaries. So the original teams, we were going to do some kind of Sith team with a mixture of, First Order and Sith characters. Build the Geos. We were going to do a Rebel team working towards CLS. We were going to do an Imperial Trooper team, a Jedi team, and then try to build some solo characters. Boba Fett back then, if you had a Relic Boba Fett, you could beat a lot of other non-Relic teams just with a solo Boba Fett. Same kind of thing, Enfys Nest, Darth Vader, Django could also potentially solo things. So we were going to try to build some of these bounty hunters so that we could use them in 1 or 2 characters to beat other teams. 9 weeks in, so 9 weeks of play, we'd hit the level 78 Zeta challenge, unlocked it in time. And I remember back then I wrote that the game has decided that I needed Snow Trooper. So every time I went in to open up my Bronzium shards, I kept getting more and more Snow Trooper. So I started to consider that for my first relic. And indeed, Snow Trooper was the first relic on this account. So yeah, interesting looking back all the way. I did want to build that CLS Rebel team, but there was just too much other stuff that I was trying to build, and I couldn't get the priority for it. So we didn't end up building that CLS team back then. At 13 weeks, 90 days, I'd hit level 4. I applied my first Zeta on the Geo Brood Alpha, and then I hit level 85 on day 95. At 18 weeks, I got my first relic, my Snow Trooper. At 21 weeks, I got my second one with the Geo Spy. And, first half a year, we had a couple relics. I think we also had Darth Vader done by then. So like 3 relics after 6 months. Things were a little different back then, but yeah, so that's how we started out. And then by 1 year, we had finished up, we gotten some Wat shards in the account. We finished out Wat Tambor, got a Houndstooth going at week 39, and worked through the sea journey. And then at week 51, I'd met all the sea requirements. And I missed unlocking sea on week 52 by literally like a few tokens. So yeah, we got sea unlocked. On week 57, the sea alt was done. Jedi Knight Revan was unlocked. Qui-Gon Jinn got his first Omicron on week 59. Then we did Zam and Iden. Week 73, we got Cat. And then 79, 1 week after 1.5 years, we got Jedi Master Kenobi and took him straight to R8. 82 weeks in, we had JMK alt done and went straight to #1 in Squad Arena. In week 83, it was kind of the week where I woke up and said, why am I still managing galactic power? It doesn't matter anymore. Everything's changed. So we blasted right through to 4 million for hard conquest and got in there. Then in week 93, we got the Executor and committed to Profundity. At week 100, I'd done the clone team for the Cam mission. And week 102, we got the first Cam shard. 114, we had the Profundity journey done. It took me 14 weeks from the end of clones through Profundity, so just over 3 months. At week 121, we had a full Relic CLS team, Kanan and Savage. We had this stretch there between week 114 and 122. I think we did 9 relics in 8 weeks. So really good run there. Week 126, we unlocked Jedi Knight Luke. And in week 128, we unlocked Gas, and that brings us around to where we are on week 130. So completion so far, Tier 4, we've done Jedi Knight Revan, Chewbacca, Han's Millennium Falcon, C-3PO. In Tier 5, we've done the Executor, the Profundity, Jedi Knight Luke, and Gas. And then Galactic Legends, we've got Sith Eternal and Jedi Master Kenobi. tracking the GP early on, going through the different weeks. So by week 26, I had 988. Wasn't even at million galactic power. Was averaging about 30,000 per week. If you look at the sort of the summary of the weeks going through the first year and a half, we averaged 35,000 per week, and then in the second, between a year and a half, we averaged 57K, and then here's where we pushed up and got our 4 million galactic power. So we got a ton of galactic power in a few weeks up front there. And we went from 3.6 million all the way up to 5.9 million, averaging 66,000 galactic power per week. And then in this last half year, up to week 130, the pace slowed down again, and we gained 1.05 million galactic power over the course of those weeks, about 40,000 per week. So, after we blew up the galactic power to 4 million, and it went very rapidly to 5 million after that, so we've slowed down a little bit again since then. Looking at mods at 1 year, my mod score was 4.7. I had 4 mods that were 25 speed or better and 20 at 20 plus. Then if you look at 78 weeks, a year and a half, we had 5 mods at 25 speed. So I only gained 1 in half a year. But we did add 22 more at 20 plus speed, and the mod score went up to 5.8. Going up to 2 years, the mod score then was at 5.95, barely moved. And the top 110 then was at 7.2. We added 6 more mods at 25 plus speed and 17 more at 20 plus. And then if we look at the update for right now, we added 9 more mods at 25 plus, almost doubled to 20 mods over 25 speed. And in the 20 plus category, we added 27 mods. The mod score took a jump up to 7.1 overall for the account, so we added 1.16 to the mod score. And for the mod score top 110, we went up to 9.28, so we jumped up by 2 full points. So it's pretty interesting. Between 1.5 and 2 years, I had a lot of focus on trying to 6-dot a lot of mods. So with the new stuff that came in for slicing and slicing materials and slicing 6-dot and all that, I really focused a lot more than I had before. And there was even like a 4 or 5 week period where I just farmed slicing materials. But I did try to take a lot more effort on improving the mods that I already had. And the mod score, interestingly, didn't go up as much as I'd hoped. Now, between 2 and 2.5 years, this last 6 months, I really went back to the strategy of playing the statistics and using a lot more new mods and just constantly searching for new good mods and only slicing the really high potential ones. And with that strategy, my mod score jumped up again by a big chunk. So I think really that's the strategy that I like. It's the statistically proven strategy. It's what's working. So I'm going to stick with that. Farming mods 5 days a week and slicing materials 2 days a week has worked out quite nicely for this strategy. So I think I will continue to use that split. In terms of Zetas for the account, really up till just about right now, I've had Zetas where I want them. Right now I do have Gas with no Zetas and Maul with no Zetas and a couple other teams that I'm working on that may need Zetas. So I have 4 Zetas in the bank, but I have need for like 9 of them right now. So for the first time in pretty much in the account's history, I actually need more Zetas than I have available to me in the bank. So I think I will start switching to a strategy where I will use more of my fleet currency for Zeta materials. I've been using the fleet currency a lot to feed the shard shop and just accelerate the character growth. But I think maybe we'll take a look at feeding some Zeta materials over. I put a maybe there at the end because I'm not sure. The shard shop is just so good right now. It really propels your relics. It really helps you get more Gear 12 characters with the changes that have been made. So I don't know. I don't know if I can give up the sweet shard shop currency. In terms of non-journey relics, I've done this strategy where each time I go on a big journey, I do some non-journey relics. So as I was doing the Sith Eternal cycle, we did Snowtrooper, Spy, and Nest. And then when we started working on JMK, we did Relic 5s. And then as I started doing the Executor, we did Commander Ahsoka Tano, of course. And then Beskar Armor Mando, we did that relic for the Executor fleet, of course. Also Dark Trooper, Cad Bane technically wasn't part of that, but I guess Cad Bane was needed. So Cat, Beskar Mando, and Dark Trooper were done during the Executor cycle. And then I did do the 501st, Clones, and Wampa before we did Profundity. Then as I'm doing the Jabba the Hutt journey, I am going to build the Jedi Knight Luke team, the Fennec team, potentially build that Maul team. So each time I'm on a big journey, I'm doing some other characters to build up my other non-GL teams. And I feel like it's worked out pretty well for me doing that so far. For last few reviews, 6-month reviews, I've done a satisfaction rating. And, you know, when you're publishing this stuff every week and people are looking at it, it's easy for people to come up with nice things to say or mean things to say or whatever. But it is a bit nerve-wracking to publish your choices and your thought process and issue that out to everybody every week. So let's talk overall, you know, where I think the account is. So at 5 million, we were already at Kyber 6 months ago, and we're still at Kyber 4 6 months later. We have gotten to Kyber 3 for just a minute, but kind of fluctuating between Kyber 4 and Kyber 3. We got pushed down back to Erodium for a season. So we're still in that same area, a million galactic power later. Always can get first in fleet and squad when I want it. We're getting box 5 in hard conquest with pretty low participation. I'm not trying that hard to get the box 5. We got good participation in territory battles. Territory wars overall, I don't get to fight as many battles as other people do, but the teams that I can fight with generally win and get good banners. I've been building non-GL teams and counters for GAC. But overall in Grand Arena, only having 2 GL teams is sort of a sticking point for me right now. So overall satisfaction rating, I would say, is 95 out of 100. And the reason I feel that way, I have gotten a little bit stuck in Grand Arena, but Grand Arena is kind of not the most important game mode right now by far. It's fun to play. It's an interesting tool to measure your account against other accounts. But overall, my satisfaction with this account is because I've got Fleet Arena under control, and I'm able to constantly get crystals out of there like I want to. The Profundity didn't make as big of an impact on GAC as I wanted it to, but I still don't fight accounts with less GP. So we're constantly fighting up against people with 3, 4, 5, 7 Galactic Legends, and still going 50-50 on the wins. So knowing that the account is stalled out a little bit, you have to compare that against the fact that I'm fighting accounts that are 5, 6 years old, sometimes even more, with tons more stuff, and we're holding, we're treading water at that level. I think I'm well positioned for all of the gameplay, territory wars, battles, conquest. Happy with the mods and the mod score. They continue to solidify. All the characters that I really want to be well modded are pretty good. The well has run dry on the low end. There's some relic characters now that have pretty bad mods on them because I'm just using whatever I have that's left over. So again, that top 110 characters that I use in Grand Arena, I'm pretty happy with. But yeah, we still need more. Always need more mods, more. I also think that this account has given me a lot of experience in advising others with account building. And in Grand Arena, it used to be I had a lot of success with teams that had one or two relics in, beating other teams without relics. Or other teams with full relics, leftover teams from Galactic Legend journeys, things like that. But with the influx of all the booster characters that they've had and the Omicrons, the teams that the opponents have that used to be easier to beat, now you put an Omicron on somewhere in that team. Like First Order, for example, the leftover team from Supreme Leader Kylo Ren with Phasma and some other First Order characters wasn't that hard to beat. But with an Omicron on the TIE pilot, it becomes significantly harder. And teams that I used to have that would punch up against stuff like that are struggling now to be able to beat full relic teams. So I basically have to build better teams with 2 or 3 relics at least to beat those teams now. There's still some teams that I have that punch up a lot, but I'm not able to do it like I used to. And that's just taken me some time to build more better teams to perform at this level. So again, with the experience that I've got with this account and my other accounts, in today's meta, basically what you do, build Executor Profundity first. I understand that there's a new Sith capital ship coming out, but with Malgus and his ship being part of that requirement, newer players aren't going to touch that for a long time. So you still have to build one of these 2 big fleets that you can get access to early in the game. Then you want to build a full relic team of some kind in characters. Ideally, it would be something that works in the raid, a Mandalorian team, something like that. Hutt Cartel, if you do plan to go for Jabba the Hutt someday, might be viable. But I think getting a full relic team for that raid is going to be important. Keep your eyes out for that. Make plans for that. If you're in the Executor Profundity journey as a newer player, think about what you're going to do for your raid team. Then you're going to want to build a Galactic Legend, and then basically just build more Galactic Legends and good teams, top teams, until the fleet meta changes, and then chase the fleet meta. Make sure that you can always get the best capital ship that you can for placement in Fleet Arena. And then fill in, if the guild asks you to build certain relics or certain teams, then kind of fill those relics in as needed as you're on a big journey. So my thing, again, my experience with this account, always consider yourself to be on a Galactic Legend journey. You're on Profundity, Executor, or one of the 7 Galactic Legends. Always be on one of those journeys. It doesn't mean that you can't build characters while you're doing it. Like I showed, every time I'm on a big journey, I still relic anywhere from 1 to 7 characters that aren't part of the journey while I'm still consider myself to be on that journey. Then once that journey's finished, I'll earmark the next big journey and we'll work on that. And I may relic some other characters in between. But I found that works really well. It keeps the focus on the account, makes sure that there's no downtime. So that's the best, like, overly simplified route to account building that I can tell you. Build your big capital fleet first, take care of your raid participation, and then work through big journeys while filling in other teams. That's it. That's going to be it for the 2.5-year review for the Darth Loquitur account. As always, I'm interested in what you think. What have you learned? Leave your comments below. I'm always happy to hear what you guys got to say. Good comments, bad comments, things that you've learned from watching the Loquitur account, things that you've learned not to do by watching the Loquitur account. I'm interested in all your thoughts. So leave them down there below. Talk to you soon. Remember, if you haven't joined the Discord, the link is in the description of the Holocron down below. Click that. Join us over on the Discord. We got a fantastic Discord community. Talks a lot about account building, making the right choices, using your resources in the right way. A lot of experienced players over there to help people out. There's an Ask Loquitur channel. You can ask me questions directly. So hope to see you over there. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next Holocron.